fatal heart impact, past painful scars. In fact, I blast tasteful bars and pass. I back up my actions, fact don't ask, grab reactions, jacked attack with every word, then act with class as they hear me snap. I got nothing to lose, cause I fought and felt the bruise. Now I'm not the one confused, call the shots and they produce. I ain't lost, I'm finally loose. Pick a new silver excuse, I need the views to boost me to a new abuse of being used. Everybody wants a piece now, y'all can rest in peace now. You're dead to me, so peace out. Remember, you're discreet now. Get ready for defeat now.
Alrighty. Hello everybody. This is Kirusho here, and now, whenever we last left off with this series, we had Izuku Midoriya, and well, him being at the age of 20 to 21 years old. Now, after S.H.I.E.L.D. revealed their existence to the world, they began to prepare. Every single day is a day where Knull can launch an attack, and the Earth is in danger. Now, the world suddenly came to peace. All the wars stopped, heroes, villains, none of it mattered anymore. This was about humanity and how they survive. In fact, a lot of the problems that were there just solved themselves. Now, Izuku Midoriya did get married and went on a honeymoon, disappearing for 2 weeks. As over the course of those 2 weeks, Midoriya and Jiro, they spent every single second of it together, and they had a lot of fun. Now, it was at this time where it was the first time these two were out looking at the stars. They weren't inside, they weren't underground, they weren't just dismissing it all. Now that they look at the night sky, it seems to have gotten a lot darker, and that's kind of terrifying. Knull, the god of the abyss, he's pulling those stars back into the dark. Now, with that being said, after Eri did have the symbiote, we actually will cut up to the final battle, or in the coming days where Knull will be arriving. Eri has already gotten the sleeper symbiote, and the symbiote has clutched onto her. It has taken to her as if it was a guard dog. The symbiote, the moment it latched onto her, it saw how innocent the child was after everything it's been through. And it knew from its own father that this gentle soul needed a bodyguard. Now, this symbiote did begin to somewhat act differently. It acted more like an animal than anything else. But at the same time, whenever push comes to shove, it will actually latch onto Eri's body and become a proper suit. Now, with all of that being said, there is Izuku Midoriya, as him and everybody on Earth are looking up to the sky. And they know what is going to happen. Every single day, that feeling gets closer. That strange itch in the back of his mind. He can tell that Knull is coming. And today, that itch will not go away. It's worse than your spider sense. At least with your spider sense, you know something about what's going on. There's an alarm. There's an instinct. Duck, dodge, move out of the way. With this, it's fear. And there's nothing more to it. Now, Midoriya, he, and everyone else on Earth are looking. As Nick Fury does get word from the governments of the world. Something is passing by, well, the moon. And they just launched everything they could at it. Now, the moment that actually does happen, everyone who's looking at the sky, they do wait for it. A bright flash. Everyone looking away for a second. Before, nothing. Those objects are still incoming. Now, with that, Midoriya immediately would give orders. As we do cut to every single country you can imagine. People are yelling left and right to move things this way, move things this way, move the Quarkless over there, and about this and that. As we do cut back to Japan, with Izuku, who, him and everyone else, do begin to fly upwards. Even the squad in the synthetic suits are moving in. Now, we do then have Knull, who's flying into the atmosphere on a symbiote dragon, as he actually would go to stand on his feet, as he does see Midoriya flying towards him. Now, we do have Midoriya who's flying in midair, as Knull's dragon does just begin to steady itself out. You've brought my children to me. Not exactly. Listen, leave Earth now, otherwise you'll become our enemies. Is this some laughable chance at diplomacy I hear? Not a laughable chance, a chance at diplomacy. It wasn't my exact idea, but they tried to wipe you out with missiles. Missiles, yes, I saw that. Quite funny that. However, those were taken out by our big friends over there. Big friends? Midoriya turning his head, as he looks on it in horror at something he never thought he would ever see. As a giant celestial is moving its hand, trying to bring it down and smash down onto the planet. Trying to smash down onto an entire city block. Now, Midoriya does see that, as he does go to turn and move in, Knull grabbing him by his throat and bringing up his left hand, informing him that he is nothing without him, isn't he? As he rips Venom straight from Midoriya's body, as Midoriya does just dangle there holding onto Knull's wrist. You're nothing without my children. You say that a lot, don't you? We're nothing without your creations? That isn't true. Midoriya does say, him actually bringing his hand up and trying to grab at Knull's face. Now, Midoriya, he does actually grab Knull's neck and try to squeeze down. Knull is surprised that this human has fight in him, along with the impressive show of power. Midoriya's strength level is far above normal for a human. In fact, with Midoriya's genetic modifications, he's stronger than Eddie Brock, physically, and more durable, especially for what's coming in the next part, where Knull lets go of him. Midoriya does begin to fall. Now, we do actually cut over to Nick Fury, who currently does call in the big guns. Now, Midoriya, as he is falling, he's trying to plan this out in his head. And he's just waiting. Now, Midoriya, he actually would smash onto the top of a building, as he does fall through 3 floors, and land on a coffee table, before attempting to try to get back up. Now, Midoriya, he fell from what I would roughly want to say is 13,000 feet. It is a very high atmosphere, and a very tall drop, but it's not enough to kill him. The average human could survive at this fall, or even higher falls actually. However, Midoriya being very high in durability, I do want to say he does survive this. Now, Midoriya, he does attempt to get back up, him struggling too as he's on his feet. Him bringing up his hand and radioing into Fury that Venom is gone. Kid, the battle just started. Besides, we're fighting up against a celestial, whatever those things are. Yeah, those things created the universe. They what? Long story. Now, Midoriya says, him going to sit on the couch, asking if someone can come get him. Now, let us cut out onto the out parts of the battlefield, where Jiro and Melissa, they are flying around. They immediately got separated from Midoriya, and they're trying to find him. Now, Midoriya did come back on comms, talking about how he already lost Venom, and this surprised everybody. As we do then have Knull, holding the symbiote in his hand, as he does tell it everything about how he's been corrupted by the light of this world. You don't understand this planet, Knull. I don't, my child. Then tell me, why did you come here? Why? I don't know. I remember something. I was on a rock. It fell to this planet. It was weird. I was in a forest. I bonded with animals. It was a strange time. Now, Knull does just absorb Venom into his armor, telling him that he will stay with him for now. Now, everybody is just trying to take down the Celestial, as the dragons, they do come in. S.H.I.E.L.D. going on the offensive along with humanity. As everybody with fire-based quirks or offensive-based quirks, they're firing everything they have into the sky. And it's quite literally a light show for the ages. An unforgettable thing no one will ever be able to unsee. Now, a lot of the dragons and everything are immediately blasted away. However, there's one problem. Now all that stuff is being stepped on by a lot of people, and they are immediately brought into the hive mind, as friends begin to turn on each other, and people begin to scream out to not step in the venom. Now, we do have that backup, or do we? As Midoriya, as he's sitting down, he does hear something. A motorcycle engine. As it's just beginning to rev up, getting louder and louder and louder. As Midoriya, he attempts to stand and walks outside. Him leaning over the railing as he does see it. There is a motorcycle down there. And there's a large path of flames behind it. As it's heading straight for the Celestial. The guy driving straight for a wall. As he pops a wheelie and immediately starts driving up it. The moment he does, he goes flying through the air. As Midoriya does see him. That guy. He's got a flaming skull for a head. That can't be right. That can't be a quirk. Now, with that, this is all quite strange. And we do have Fury back on comms, asking Midoriya once again if he's still not willing to take the Century Serum. As Midoriya does reply back that he's not going to use that. Kid, we're running out of time here. Either you take that stuff and kill the god, or you don't take it and we all die. Now, this is where Midoriya, he does just turn off his comms. To Fury at least. Fury shouting his name, for he does just get annoyed. As he does reach in his pocket and pull out the vial. Looking down at it. Shit. If that kid's not willing to, then I don't know what to do. Now, everyone around him does begin to look at him. As Fury, he does just put the syringe directly into his vein. and they do watch on. As Nick Fury, his eye patch does fall off, and he does drop onto his knees, before he does just get up with a large burst of light. Now, Knull does actually look down and see all this. For a second, he misconstrued this. He thought this was the god of light. However, something does come rocketing towards him, as Nick Fury would fly up and directly smash into Knull's face. Now, everybody does hear the sonic boom from the punch, as Nick Fury has become the Sentry. Now, Midoriya, he did hear that. Him limping over to another corner and watching all this go on. Now, somebody does come flying up, as they do just hold up something and directly inject it onto Midoriya. A synthetic symbiote covering his body, as it does actually begin to try and mend some of the damage. Now, the piece of shrapnel that's currently stuck in Midoriya's side does actually fall out, as the symbiote does cauterize the wound and patch it up. Now, these synthetic symbiotes do lack healing factors. However, they are using nanites to cover damage. Now, Midoriya, he does take flight, as he does use the repulsor technology in the symbiote. Now, he goes flying back in towards the Celestial, as he does try to blast away at it, him using the energy absorption ability. Now, with that, he is actually going to start talking with everybody. People confused as to what this thing is, as Eri with Sleeper is flying around, her dodging and weaving as fast as she can, asking Mr. Izuku if he knows what this thing is. Now, many of them do want to know, and Midoriya filling them all in. As we do have the Ghost Rider. Whenever a giant hand was coming up and going to actually swat somebody out of the air, a giant chain threw itself outwards and wrapped around the hand, being able to actually pull it to the right as it goes slamming downwards towards the ground. The moment that does actually happen, the rider goes riding up on the person onto the Celestial's arm. As it does do that, as it does try to go directly for where the head was. Now, the moment that does actually happen, the rider just slams into an entire pile of goo, as Midoriya screams out for the rider. Now, we do actually have the rider, who he is grabbing away at all this goo. As soon as it does just begin to try and wrap itself around his arms, he does just increase his flames. Hotter, hotter, hotter. And then something does begin to form, as it does try to look at the rider and latch itself directly to its face. The rider immediately using the penitent stare, before being able to rip all the goo free. Now, the Celestial does fall towards the ground, as it is now free of the Venom. Everybody confused watching this as the entire Celestial destroys 20 city blocks, as it does fall. Now, with that being said, the rider then does one thing, as he does actually just wrap his chains all throughout the Celestial. And Midoriya does actually fly down, asking him exactly what the hell is he. Hi there. It's nice to see you. What the hell are you? Name's Ghost Rider. Don't forget it. You deal with things here. I'm gonna go have my own fun. Now, the rider immediately has his flames burst into life, as he does throw his hands down onto the Celestial's neck, as he does just pump hellfire into it. Now, people do watch on, as the Ghost Rider does stand up the Celestial, before flying into space. Now, everyone's confused by that. Did that guy just bring a giant robot back from the dead? a giant robot that built their universe. Anyways, back over to Nick Fury, the Sentry, and Knull. As Knull and the Sentry are fighting toe-to-toe. The Void does not exist in this universe. Someone does ask about that. Now, Knull is simply toying with the Sentry, as he's taking a beating. Knull actually deciding to stop all this, stopping the Sentry's punch, and then countering with one of his own, smashing him directly across the face, as he almost knocks his jaw clean off. Now, Nick Fury is sent flying away, as we do have Midoriya, who does actually come flying in and does blast directly into Knull's face, as Knull simply just does bat his arm to the left, and Midoriya, he does try and swing outwards with a kick. The moment his kick does actually try and collide, Knull just does bring his hand up and swats it away, the symbiote completely being destroyed in that area, before Knull does just bring his hand upwards and smash it directly down, Midoriya being sent flying towards the ground. I just smash into it, and the synthetic symbiote does begin to waver, Midoriya losing control of it mentally, as he just lay there, Venom beginning to pour into the area around him, as Midoriya does just think for 1 minute. No, this can't be the future. At night I saw. This can't be it. Now, the Venom does begin to pour onto Midoriya, as he does feel the hive. Now, Midoriya does just go to reach his hand up. It's so dark. No. I can't. I can't go down like this. I have to save Earth. Save everyone I care about. Save my family. Save everyone. Now, we do cut over to a shield facility, deep underground, as an ancient relic has awoken. It has deemed Midoriya worthy. When given the chance for the power of a god, he refused. When encountered with a conflict, Midoriya tries to de-escalate it. His chance at diplomacy with all the countries of the world, and his desire to throw himself towards danger, even if it means sacrificing his own life. Challenging a god with no power? That wasn't it. That was him trying to save everyone. As Mjolnir is lifted from the stone it was put on. As Midoriya, with his hand in the air, everything does begin to start fading. As Midoriya's hand wraps around it. As lightning does strike. The mighty hammer of Thor. Now, Knull and Nick Fury do both look at that, as everyone on the battlefield is wondering what just happened. As Midoriya, he does just stand up from where he was, as he begins to start flying in the air, before looking down at his hand. This is new. Whatever the hammer of Thor. Well, whatever this is, it better work. Now, Midoriya does just start flying in, as Baku does ask about what was that. Don't ask me. Jiro does go on stating, as we do have Bakugo, who he does just order his people from a certain place to fire. Now, they begin to fire the nets. As a symbiote dragon, he gets swarmed by them, him smashing towards the ground as Baku does order Unit B to move in. Now, Unit B does one thing simply. they begin to drive in with 18-wheelers. Before, they all quickly do jump out, taking a giant hose and quickly running over to the dragon, as they open the nozzles. Now, they begin to spray the dragon with anti-venom, as Balko does go to fly down, him smashing into it as he does turn it into an anti-venom dragon. Before we do have the second voice in his head. So, this is what it's like to be back. How you doing, bud? I'm doing fine. I feel faint, though. That's normal, isn't it? Yeah, your anti-venom, remember? I forget sometimes. Still Venom. I'm aware. But hey, what say you and me, we cause some chaos. Turn the tides in this battle. Sounds like a plan. Now, while that's all going on, let us cut back over to Midoriya, who does fly in as does smash Knull across the face with a hammer, before turning to look at Nick Fury. So that's what that stuff does. So that's what that hammer does. I know, right? Look at this thing. You have to be worthy, huh? Kid, you're the farthest person I've ever thought would be worthy from that thing. I don't know. It knew I was worthy, I think. Was I all along, though? I don't fucking know. We can focus on that later. For right now, let's focus on killing this ancient god. And getting my buddy back. Now, Knull does just scream out after refixing his jaw that they are a pain in his side, trying to fly in and go after Midoriya, who does just start swinging the hammer over his head, before throwing it directly towards Knull as lightning does strike. Now, divine lightning would strike Knull, as he does scream out in pain, Nick Fury flying in and actually smashing him directly in the face with both of his fists. Before we do have Midoriya, who does flying as well, and does smash him directly in the chest with his hammer, Knull going flying towards the ground, before getting back up and creating wings, as he does fly back towards them. Now, Midoriya and Nick Fury both do go flying towards Knull, as Midoriya does change the hammer into his left hand, cocking back his fist and going to slam directly across Knull's face, as Nick Fury does go to throw him towards the ground, them smashing down into a smoking crater, before Midoriya does just summon more and more lightning, talking about how he has become the god of thunder. Now, Midoriya, he actually does then throw the hammer towards Knull, as the hammer goes flying down, directly smashing against Knull as it does continue flying, changing paths and turning around, smashing Knull once again. Midoriya coming down and smashing down directly onto his face. Knull heading towards the ground as Midoriya does actually kick upwards with his knee. Now, the hammer then does smash into Knull's side, as he gets sent flying that way. Now, with that, Knull does get back up, turning and going to rush towards Midoriya, as he does land a solid blow directly on Midoriya. Midoriya actually having his jaw get dislocated, before he does swing back and his helmet goes flying off. Kid, you're a real pain in my side, he says after throwing the punch. Him throwing another punch into Midoriya's chest, before kicking up his leg. Now, Knull doesn't have to joke around with this normal human. He can actually let loose a fourth of his power. Or at least a fifth. It's been so long since he's used any of it. He feels rusty. Rusty as hell. Now, we do then have Nick Fury, who does come rushing in and does try to slam directly into his back. Knull actually moving out of the way before just grabbing Nick Fury out of the air, and throwing his spine downwards into his knee. Nick Fury screaming out in pain, as Knull then does do one thing, going to grab him directly by his back. As, with a quick flex, he does throw himself upwards, splitting Nick Fury in two. Now, with that happening, Nick Fury's body does begin to start glowing. And Midoriya does see that, ordering all forces to get out of the city now as fast as possible, as everyone quickly begins to go. Now, everybody with the symbiote does fly away, and they all do make sure to stay clear. As fast as possible they fly away, and SHIELD agents do quickly try and either evacuate on the ground or go somewhere high. As Midoriya does actually grab Nick Fury and smash directly into Knull, before flying upwards towards the sky. Knull actually trying to push away from Midoriya. Have Midoriya, he's holding Fury's body, Knull, and the hammer together. As Knull actually is able to push away at Midoriya. Now, the moment Knull actually does do that, Midoriya does strike him full of lightning. And the sentry, his body does explode. Midoriya being sent flying away as the hammer is sent flying as well. As Knull himself, he's taken a bit of damage. However, he is able to regenerate it immediately. As Midoriya, he does go smashing downwards, landing on a building that has been recently destroyed. Damn it. Even with all this power, nothing. Fuck. This can't be it. Now, Midoriya does go to bring up his left hand and summon Mjolnir. However, the moment he does, his left, forearm is gone, along with everything down from there. Now, Midoriya then does try to sit up, him being able to, and saying that one of his legs were also blown off. As he does go to summon Mjolnir back to him. Now, Mjolnir does come. As Midoriya, he does get back onto his feet and realize that he can't see through one of his eyes. Damn it. Midoriya does say, as his comms are going crazy, asking where Midoriya was in that blast. Midoriya finally brings his hand up to his ear. I just pressed on the button, saying that he's alive. At least. Izuku, are you okay? Honey, I'm fine. Listen to me. I love you. Now get out of here. Now, we do cut to Jiro, hearing those words, and with the words following. Izuku's going to die. And there's nothing she can do to stop it. All that power they've gained, it's just delayed it. This is how the world will fall, isn't it? Now, we do cut to something that has entered the upper atmosphere, as it does fly down. Now, all of a sudden, the sky is filled with another bright flash. And everyone, they all do immediately go to get down, thinking it's another explosion. As we do cut to Midoriya, as a small ball does land directly in front of him. It's actually right there. As it does ask Izuku Midoriya if he would like some help. What are you? Oh, I have many names. However, I also do possess one name to help you. I am the symbiote of light. What? You're it? Yes, I am. Now, hold out your hand, and I can help you. You weren't in any of Night Eye's predictions. Well, because things never got this bad. Izuku Midoriya, you tampering with time the way you did ultimately stopped those futures and will help bring balance to the universe. Now, Midoriya does just ask if this is going to be permanent. No, it will not. It will, however, give you the power you do need. Just ask whatever form you shall take, and I shall give it to you. Now, Midoriya would smile, as there's another bright flash, and then a hand does wrap around Mjolnir, as the hammer is flooded with a golden force. Now, we do have Knull, who he is looking around, seeing that bright flash, as Midoriya, he does just start walking towards him once again, after getting back up, as we do have everybody inside the city. You do have Jiro asking Midoriya if he's okay. We're fine. In fact, we're better than that. We? Who's with you? Something ancient. Oh god, did Knull get... No, he didn't. Now, Midoriya does just tell everybody that he found another symbiote. Knull is the god of the abyss, and he is the god of the light. Now, everybody does begin to fly in. Toga a bit more concerned about everything, as Eri does quickly follow her. Now, as they are flying, Eri does hold out her hand, Toga actually reaching out to grab it, as their masks do both retract. Miss Toga, do you think Izuku's gonna be okay? I have confidence that he's okay. He'll be alright. Have you found another god? One that can help us? Then we're doing better than we ever thought. Now, they will arrive, as you do have Midoriya. Him appearing to be in Venom, with Thor's hammer. And you do have Knull, standing there with his symbiote and Venom, along with a mighty sword. Knull making the first move as he does rush forwards. Now, he does quickly swing the sword overhead, telling him that the God of Light will fall, as Midoriya does just hold up Thor's hammer and call down the lightning. He just swings the hammer overhead and crushes the sword, as it's sent flying to the right. Midoriya then just brings up his left hand and smashing Knull across the face. Now, this is quite intriguing, as Knull, he hurts. That's actual pain. Now, Midoriya then does just throw Knull backwards, Knull being sent flying, as Midoriya didn't expect that. Him actually going to fly forwards at insane speed, without wings. Midoriya recalling Mjolnir, as he quickly does fly forwards with the hammer. Knull actually going to get back up before Midoriya just smashes him directly through the chest. And Knull, he does begin to try and reconstitute himself. Him going to stretch outwards and go to try and grab Midoriya. Grabbing Midoriya by the shoulders as he does quickly just bring up his left hand and break Knull's arm, before smashing upwards with the hammer. And then he does just blast him away. Now, Knull is scared, as he just tells him to get away from me. God of the Abyss, God of Fear, you are nothing. You are not a god. Midoriya would say, walking over and picking up Knull, as the two do go flying up high. Now, Midoriya does just tell Knull that he's heard enough of him. Hive mind, symbiotes, you being a god. This last year I've brought this planet to peace, and you've brought it to chaos once again. You are done. This universe needs no more gods. It just needs people. Now, Midoriya does just throw the hammer upwards and backwards, as he throws it straight through Knull's chest. And he does begin to order whatever symbiote's on him to come to him. Now, this symbiote does listen, as it does begin to come onto Midoriya's arm, the armor around Knull disappearing. As Midoriya does just retract his hand, and the hammer, telling Knull that he's done for. He's no longer a god. You don't understand. Oh, I do, because I'm about to kill you. Now, Midoriya would then just summon down the most lightning he can. An actual thunderstorm being held in the sky. As Midoriya then does just obliterate Knull in an instant, using the using the symbiote of light with the power of Captain Universe and Thor's hammer. As he does just go back down to the ground and land. Now, the power of Captain Universe does just tell Midoriya that balance has finally been restored. Thank you. Whatever you are. Do not thank me. Do not worry. I was supposed to be here from the beginning. I was, however, preoccupied. With what? That is far beyond your understanding. Now, the power does then fly away, as Midoriya is still standing there in Venom. Is that you, bud? Yes, Izuku, it is. What was that? I don't know. It was nice, though. It was strange, too. Hey. Oh, please, Venom. You're the only suit I'd ever wear. But you feel that, right? The power from the hammer. Yes. It's quite interesting. Now, everybody is running up to Midoriya, asking him about what happened. As Midoriya is explaining it. Now, everybody is surprised. Midoriya has the power of the God of Thunder, and some symbiote of the opposite of Knull came to save the day. That's ridiculous. Midoriya pointing out that they literally just fought a god and one of their dead creators. Now, everybody, they stay silent at that. As we do have over the course of the next few weeks, people are rebuilding, and the world does return somewhat to peace. As Midoriya, he is now the king of the symbiotes, and the leftover goo and all the venom, they are all under his control. They listen to him. And Midoriya, he has made a sanctuary for these beings on Earth, as it's technically its own independent little place. If anyone so chooses to, they can bond with a symbiote, and, well, use its power for good, and be a host for one of these beings. But, if they are led astray, the symbiote will leave them. Now, a lot of people were confused by this at first. However, with the symbiotes acting of their own free will, this quickly became something that people enjoyed. As we do have a few years later, in a society filled with people who use symbiotes, symbiote technology, things of the future. And we do have Midoriya who does actually walk into a house and set the hammer on a coat rack. As he does then walk in further. As you see Mania standing in the kitchen in a humanoid form. And you also do see Venom, who does go from leaning against the counter and reading to a small child to looking up at Midoriya, Hey there, buddy. Hmm? Hey, Venom. You don't have to look like me every time I leave. Hmm? Ah, but she barely notices that you're gone when I do this. Oh, please. Wait a say. Him walking up and picking up his daughter, talking about how he can take care of her himself. Now, Midoriya, he actually does turn her around, and she does just throw up her hands saying daddy, as Midoriya does hug her, smiling, asking her how her day was, talking about how Uncle Venom and Auntie Mania, they've been helping Mommy. Hmm? Oh, that's good, that's good. Especially since you're gonna be a big sister now. Hmm? Where's Aunt Toga? Oh, Aunt Toga? She's been a bit busy herself, along with Aunt Ochako. In fact, I hear that they're getting ready to have their own little special child. Hmm? Really? Does that mean I'll be an older cousin too? Hmm? Possibly yes. But your Aunt Toga, she's also a bit preoccupied. I heard she's going on a date tonight. What? Really? Yup. Plus, she's actually doing a lot better. Hmm? Oh, are they still viewing Toga as a government official? Well, yeah, kinda. She does have a bit of a past with symbiotes, plus with the way that she's been seen as of the last few years. They do say that she's very good for the role. Training people and making her own symbiote police force. She's actually the head of it now. Hmm? You promoted her today? Yeah, I did. Just like I talked about. She was thrilled for the job. Her and her entire unit are out celebrating right now. That's good, that's good. Now, with that being said, I do hope you guys enjoyed. Have an amazing night. This series is finally over. However, as many of you are probably wondering, who was the mysterious writer? Now, with that being said, I do hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next series.